We're going to solve logarithms using the properties of logs, and I'm doing 5 through 15 the odds for page 313. The main thing we need to go over again, and we already did this on our handouts, but just remember that the domain of log, so when this is your quantity here, x has to be bigger than 0. So this can't be negative and it can't be 0. And you can look at the graph here and see why. Because the vertical asymptote is x equals 0. So it can't equal 0, and it's positive values for the quantity of x. So let's get started. We're going to do number 5. And 5 is log base 4, the quantity of x plus 2 equals log base 4 of 8. Since my bases are the same here, I can cancel those out and just solve for x. X plus 2 equals 8, so x equals 6. Now you always want to check this, so you plug back 6 in here, and this quantity in here, this is your total x value, should be bigger than or equal to 0, and it is, so my solution set is 6. Okay. Number 7, we have 1/2 log base 3 of x equals 2 times log base 3 of 2. Now before I cancel out or cross out the logs, I'm going to use my power property and move these here. You know, use your power property that we did before. So this turns out to be log base 3 of x to the 1/2 equals log base 3 of 2 squared. Now that we have it in this form, we don't have to deal with this, and we're just going to solve. So we have x to the 1/2 equals 4, so x equals 16. Clearly that works. And don't forget, x to the 1/2 is really the square root of x equals 4. So then you could do the square root of 16 equals 4. Or when you see this, you could do this, x to the 1/2 equals 4, and just square both sides. Because 1/2 squared is x, and then 4 squared is 16. Okay, 9, the same type problem. 9 is 2 times log base 5 of x equals 3 times log base 5 of 4. Use your power property and we get log base 5 of x squared equals log base, is this base 5 or 8? So base 5 of 4 cubed. Since we have the same bases here, we have x squared equals 64. Now you're going to square root both sides, and you have to take plus and minus. So x equals plus or minus 8. Now, do both of these work? In this, so what we're doing is we're looking at this x. When I plug in a negative 8 here, that's undefined. So negative 8 is the extraneous solution. It's undefined there, so my only solution is 8. Okay, so you always have to check your answers. What's 11? So let's go to 11 on a different page. It looks a little longer. 11 is 3 times log base 2 of x minus 1 plus log base 2 of 4 equals 5. Okay? Now what you notice right away is we don't have a base log here. So what I'm going to do is multiply this right here by log base 2 of 2. Again, we already went over this, but this equals 1. So 5 times 1 is just 1. This is 1 in log land. So I'm going to use my power property of log base 2 of x minus 1 cubed plus log base 2 of 4 equals log base 2 to the 5th. Next property I'm going to use is my product property. I'm going to write this as log base 2 of, this is like your m and your n. That means we can multiply these. 4 times x minus 1 cubed equals, so I just put these two together, log base 2 of 32. Now that I have it in this form, with the lead being log of the base 2, I can cross those out and just solve. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 4, and I get x minus 1 cubed equals 8, because I'm just dividing both sides by 4. Now I'm going to cube root both sides. So you get x minus 1 equals 2, and so x equals 3. Go ahead and check. The only place we can check it is right here. So when I put a 3 in here, 3 minus 1 is 2, and that is indeed a positive number. So our solution set is 3. Okay. 13 is log base 4 of x plus log base 4 of x minus 3 equals 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and, before I even get started, since there's not a log on this right hand side, I'm going to multiply this by log base 4 of 4. You know this equals 1, so 1 times 1 will equal 1. So I'm not changing it, I'm just writing it so I can manipulate the equations. It's a positive, so I'm going to use my product property and call this log base 4 of x times x minus 3 equals log base 4 of 1. I use my power property, so that's 4 to the first power equals 4, basically. Sorry, 4. Now, I can cancel my logs here, and I'm going to solve. So I have x squared minus 3x equals 4. And then, since it's in quadratic form, I set it to 0 and solve accordingly. So I get x minus 4 times x plus 1 equals 0. So we have x equals 4, or x equals negative 1. Now let's plug these in and make sure they both work. If I plug 4 in here, 4 minus 3 is 1. That works. However, if I plug in negative 1, I'm going to get a negative 4 here. And that can't work. So I have to disregard the negative 1. And my solution set is 4. Okay, last problem is 15. Alright, we have the natural logs. We're going to be practicing more natural logs on one day of class for solving. So here's just one, because there's not enough of these in the book, and you do need them for calculus. Ln of x, quantity of x plus 2 equals 4. Now, in this case, we don't have a ln of x. So I'm going to multiply this by 1 in natural log land, which is ln of e. ln of e is 1. We already talked about that. So I'm going to use my product property and call this ln of x. Whoops. Times x plus 2 equals ln of e to the fourth. Now, I can cancel my ln's, and since it's quadratic in form, I have to factor or use a quadratic formula. So this one's a weird one, and we're just going to remember e is just what? 2.718. If you want to write that number down, you can. And then you would have to the fourth it, but let's just use the quadratic formula. So we have x equals, first of all, my a is 1, my b is 2, and my c is negative e to the fourth. So we have x equals negative 2 plus or minus square root of 2 squared minus 4ac. Okay, all over 2 times a, which is just 2. Now, clean it up, and we're going to get negative equals negative 2 plus or minus square root of 4 plus 4e to the fourth over 2. Now, this little bit here, I can factor out of 4. So that's 4 times 1 plus e to the fourth over 2. So I can take the square root of 4 and get 2. So I'm going to get negative 2 plus or minus 2 root 1 plus e to the fourth over 2, which leaves me, I'm going to write it over here now, x equals negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1 plus e to the fourth. Now, the negative portion, x equals negative 1 minus square root of 1 minus e to the fourth, doesn't work. So my solution set is just this one here. Okay? You're going to have a quiz on these, but this one's kind of hard compared to what you'll have. You won't have one like this, but we'll do more of these in class, okay? And that's all of this set.